There it is.
Okay, and we are now recording now. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Isabelle Knight, and I am the middle grade fantasy author of the Enchantria series. And today I am back here again with another author interview, and I am super excited for this interview because today I will be interviewing my very good friend BeaDragonia, who has just released her very first fantasy novel, which is book 1 in the Where Have All the Dragons Gone series. Hi!
Hi, Isabelle.
Hi, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. So, thank you so much for doing this interview, and also congratulations on your new book release.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, so
I got my first 5-star review.
Yay, that's amazing! Congratulations! So, to start us off, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what your book is about and how the idea for Where Have All the Dragons Gone came about?
Okay, so I wrote this just to say this. I just want to warn everybody, okay? Hi, my name is Bee. I'm mean as can be. Just ask my dragon kitty. She will agree. So, yeah, I had to run.
Okay, I'm sorry. I crack up every time you say that.
Let's see. Where did I get my idea? Right? I've written for a long time, but off and on, but never really published anything till now. I used to write in a email fanfic club with Anne McCaffrey's Fern, and it's about dragons and another planet and all of that stuff. And we actually had her permission, written permission, to have this writing club by email. We sent in our little bitty story snippets by email to each other. So every week we'd write a little bit of a snippet of a story and we'd send it in. Sometimes we wrote with other authors and we'd collaborate together. So I spent several years doing that, just off and on here and there. So I love dragons, always have. I've collected them all my life. And one day I'm sitting here minding my own business and I have two cats, two beautiful cats. One is Midna, who is star of the book, and Link, her cohort. Midna is an American short hair, and she's all black with one tiny little spot underneath her chin. That's why. Now Link, he's one of those orange tabby cats. Oh, he comes running and jumps off the top step, lands halfway across the house, and the whole place shook. And I looked at him and I'm like, what did you do? And he just goes, no. And dashes across the house, jumps up on the couch, does a U-turn in the midair practically, runs back upstairs, comes right back, full speed ahead, jumps off and lands so softly. You couldn't have told that he did. And it reminded me of the dragons of Bern. They can control their weight. And my brain was insane. It's like, dragons control their weight. Link controls his weight when he jumps. Didn't dragons just disappear about the same time that domesticated cats showed up in history? So yeah, that's where it was from.
Yeah, I love that, and that is a really unique way to get the idea for your book, and I really love that. So can you tell us a little bit about what your book is about?
Oh, my book is about Link and Midna. They are the dragons, and let's see, how do I put this and not give away too much? The human in this story, his name is Enos, and he wants to get married to a beautiful young woman in his village. It is set many, many, many years ago, back at the beginning of the Iron Age. So there's not a lot of tools. It's still very rural, very rustic. People, just do this, that, and the other thing. So he decides that the best way to propose to his beloved is to go get a dragon scale and then fashion an engagement ring out of it and propose to her. So he sneaks out very early, just after midnight. He climbs the mountain up to where the dragons live. They live in the top of this extinct volcano. He gets up there and he feels his way all the way into the cave and kicks a rock, which wakes up the dragons. And that's how the book starts.
Yeah, I really loved that scene. It was probably one of my favorite scenes in the book, and I really love the idea of like Enos wanting to get like a dragon scale to fashion a sort of engagement ring. Like I really love that idea.
Yeah, he was a very thoughtful young man.
Yes.
He wanted to impress.
Yeah. And, I really loved all of the characters in this book. And, I really think Midna is one of my favorite characters. She's definitely my favorite. And I feel like all of the characters are really so unique and they have a lot of personality. So, how did the characters in this book come to you? And how do you normally go about discovering your characters and developing their personality?
Oh man, now you're going to think I'm crazy when I answer this one. So I have a theory. You have this part of your brain up here that you think and talk like here. And then back in the back of your head is where all my characters live. Okay? And when I go to write, I turn this part off and let this part write. I don't create characters. I don't write stories. This does. I have no plots. I have no plans. I have no anything. I sit down and I read the story as it shows up on my screen.
Yeah, I really do love that though. Like, I don't think it's something I hear a lot in interviews, but also I really do love that. And I feel like I do sort of have that sort of brain, although not quite exactly, but sort of, kind of like that. And I would say there's like this conscious part of my brain, and then there's like this
This part,
subconscious part of my
this
brain.
part, and this part is subconscious. Yeah.
Yes, and I have a lot of problems turning the conscious part of my brain off, hence why I listen to music to distract the conscious part of my brain,
Ah,
and it's also the reason why I have over 800 liked songs on Spotify.
oh my goodness.
Um,
That's a lot. I have a
I
playlist, but it's nowhere near that.
yeah, you could say I'm a music enthusiast as well as a bookish enthusiast.
Yeah.
But what was the hardest part about writing this book and why?
Editing. It's the only hard part about the whole entire book was getting it edited. I sent it off to my sister, who is an editor. She went to college, got a degree and everything. I emailed it to her. She printed it out. She marked it all up. She sent it back. I couldn't even find my words. I'm like, what is this? And she's like, well, you don't have a magic system. So she'd flipped the page over and written 8 pages on how I needed to make a magic system. I didn't have a magic system because it doesn't need a magic system. And I'm not creating. She's one of those people that would need 400 pages on one character. She would sit and interview her characters to understand them. It's not me. She is one of those plotter, planner people. I just cannot write like that. I tried once. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I am mostly a pantser. I sometimes do a tiny bit of plotting, but not really to that extent.
Yeah, she does, but me, I guess you could say I'm kind of a crossover. I write as a pantser. Doesn't mean I don't dream about or think about all the things that my characters have done, will do, might do, won't do. So
Yeah. And I definitely agree with you on like editing being the hard part about writing. I wrote the Enchantria series. The first draft was so hard to write. I suppose that's the case with a lot of, your
yeah,
first drafts. But after that, I thought my writing was brilliant and thought it was ready to
And
be
it is.
published.
Well, it is brilliant, but probably not the first draft.
Yeah, like, I mean, a word of advice to most writers. Maybe don't publish your first draft. Set it aside for a few months and come back to look at it, because
I wrote Where Have All the Dragons Gone, the beginning of the end, in December, right after NaNoWriMo last year. I started it November 28th, as a matter of fact. And in January, I sent it to my sister. She sent it back, and I was so mad I wouldn't even look at it because I was so mad at her. It took me a week to even call her and tell her how mad I was at her.
Oh my gosh.
I hate editors. I don't care if they're related or not. I don't like editors. They destroy all the fun in a book, in my opinion. But at any rate, they always make it better, so yeah. But that first letter, when it comes back, you just want to shred it and set it on fire.
Yeah, that is. I have listened to a lot of traditionally published writers talk about this, and that's very common. Even if you're an indie author and paid for an editor, like, that is very common.
Once I got over my bad self and I actually went back and read what she had to say, a lot of it actually made sense, so I fixed it. Then it's sat since February until the middle of this month when I finally, it's been edited, it's been done, it's just sat there because I was busy writing book 2.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which is almost finished.
Yay, congratulations. I cannot wait to read book 2. Like, especially since book 1, the last line of book 1. It's amazing. I love it, but also, why?
Oh, everybody hates that last line. But then I make everything better. I gave you chapter 1 of the second book. Something to look forward to.
That's true. So what? So what do you think was the best part about writing this book?
The best part or the best part of the book? I recently retired. I was bored out of my ever-loving gourd, and I've got to do something I absolutely love doing. I've always told stories, and now I actually wrote them down, so that was the best part, getting them out. Yeah. And it makes the voices shut up sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I do agree. And I really do love that just getting the story out was the best part, because I really do think that is, there are a lot of great parts about writing a story, but I also think that in writing a story, you really do have to enjoy, like, getting the story out on paper. So.
It's magic to watch it show up. It to me, it is, at any rate. And then to go back and read it or listen to it, because I use Word and it'll read it to me. And I'll listen to it, and it's like, oh, that sounds so good. Oh, my God, what was that mess? We better fix that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the two of us are friends. So, we've spoken before. So I know that you are a pantser and not a plotter. So can you tell us a bit about why you're a pantser?
Well, I tried doing the plotter planner thing. I have a book that is still sitting in limbo that's the biggest mess I have ever seen in my entire life. One of these days, I might go back and rewrite it and realize that that was not my style. It was science fiction, and I love sci-fi. I do. It was called Transplant. The story idea is fabulous. I would love to finish it one of these days, but I can't get Lincoln Midna to leave me alone long enough to finish it. I got to finish them first. So then I'll go and switch to the other. When I tried to write that story, I plotted, I planned, I wrote out characters, drew up characters. Oh my Lord. By the time I got done with it all and I wrote about 4 chapters, it was like, really? I have no clue where this story went to. So I just put it aside and quit Nano for the year.
Yeah.
This year,
Yeah.
last year when I did Nano, I sat and did my memoirs. And at the end
Yeah.
of it, I decided on my birthday, I hit 50K. By November 28th, I was at 96 plus. Okay.
Wow, that is impressive.
And I never even got but about half of the way through my life.
That is very impressive. Like you
I've lived a lot.
Yeah, and I can't believe, like, I don't know, my brain is in shock with how much you wrote during NaNoWriMo. Like, I think I finished Nano on day 17, and yes, it does sound crazy, and I totally overwrote and overworked myself. I don't recommend it. And I did not hit like 90K during Nano because I overwrote and gave myself the dreaded carpal tunnel syndrome.
I remember that, yes.
Yeah, it has healed. So
yes,
but
you shouldn't ever try to write by hand for that many words.
Yeah, I agree. So you know, and because you are a pantser, like me, you know, you don't outline. So how different was your idea for the story from the way it actually came out?
My idea from the story was dragons became cats, and that was it. That was my idea. I don't know how else to explain it, and then it just showed up.
Yeah,
I don't plan things like that. It's like I'm at the end of book 2, and somebody said, "Oh, well, you need to end it like this," and I thought, well, maybe. And the more I think about the maybe, the less I can write. So I need to stop listening to other stupid people. This is my book, my character's book, not theirs. So.
Yes, I agree. Like, you know, there's helpful writing advice, and there's also, you know, like writing advice that really does not help. And I myself have actually struggled with, you know, trying not to listen to the writing advice that does not help. Yeah, but like I really do like that, and it actually does make a lot of sense to me, you know, your answer to that question, because I am also a pantser, and while I do have a general idea of the ending of the story, you know, my stories also, they usually surprise me.
Well, this one, book 1, totally blew me out of the water. I had no idea what it was, what the ending was going to be. I just knew what it was about, and then it just wrote. I do know how the end of book 3 ends, because I've already written book 3 and I'm working backwards to run into book 2 because I can't decide where to end book 2 to start book 3.
That sounds like me. That sounds like me.
And there's going to be a book 4 and a bunch of other little books too.
I love Cortez, and like, so how do you deal with writer's block, and what helps you find motivation to keep going through a tough writing day?
Writer's block. Well, like I said earlier, I listened to somebody else. So for that part of it, I've got writer's block. But it's not really writer's block. It's just me resorting things in my brain. Usually, if I'm stuck on something, I will go and write a kid's story, because I also write children's illustrated books as my baby sister Cherry. So
yeah, and I love the
I wrote one for you. It's called Isabelle and the Panda Posse, and eventually it will finish getting illustrated by my granddaughter, who is an amazing artist.
Yes, and you know,
yes, Miss Izzy.
Yes,
she was
Izzy,
the one. She featured greatly in the book with no lines.
Yeah, I feel like if people are watching this, they're probably going to be so confused, especially since my pandas don't feature that often on my channel, which they probably should. But this is Izzy. She's my stuffed panda. I've had her for 12 years, and yes, it does mean she's as old as me. But yeah. So I know that, you know, you have mentioned this, that Where Have All the Dragons Gone is actually going to be a series, which I am
Yes.
very glad because one, I love series. Two, well, it gives me more to read. And three, that last line you ended was on book one.
Oh, well, you're going to have to wait a few books to catch up with the last line in book one.
No!
Yeah, that last line is many books in the future.
No!
Yes, it is.
So
he will get his own story, if that helps.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
His
that
own
good.
singular book.
That's good. So, can you tell us about what the next books are going to be like, without giving away too many spoilers?
Well, like I said, the first chapter of A New Start, which is the second book, is at the end of the beginning, or the beginning of the end. I'll get it backwards, and one of these days I'll get it right. But it's many, many centuries into the future from when book one starts and ends. Cats have been cats for a very long time. There's still dragons in their heart, dragons in their mind, but they've been domesticated cats for many centuries. So the story starts, this one, in book two, with a young girl, 18. She turned 18 the day before, and she's graduating high school. She's giving her commencement speech. She's up on stage. The back door opens, and some police officers walk in. And everything just blows up in her face. And she doesn't know about dragon cats. She doesn't know anything about them. And the story moves so forward from there. She faces many, many, many obstacles. There's a saying out there that you need to be mean to your characters. I tell you what, I am mean, mean, mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that does make what you said in the beginning of this interview kind of true then.
I'm not mean in person. I'm just mean in my writings.
Yeah, and I get that. So, like, I actually had to completely rewrite book 4 of the Enchantria series because I was being too mean to my characters. As in, like, this is middle grade. I mean, if this were young adult, fine. I can do that. Kill off all of Eleanor's friends. That's fine.
Yeah.
But this is middle grade, and I went
well,
back
I start the book off with people being dead, and then things go all right for a little bit, and then go south, and then go back up, and then go back down. Well, I think I sent you the beta read on book 2, didn't I?
I don't remember. It is also possible I could have lost it in the chat.
Well, I will have to give it back to you. It's not quite finished. It's like maybe 2,000 words from being done.
Yeah. I look forward to reading it, though.
Well, I'll try not to leave it on such a distressing end as I did book 1. How's that?
Well, it's less distressing and more like, why did this happen? This character, like, oh, this is such a...
Yep.
But yeah,
you'll have to read the books and find out.
Yeah.
And then you'll write me and say how mad you are at me. And where's the next stinking book? Just like everybody else has.
I probably will. So, did you always want to be a writer when you were younger? Why or why not?
My earliest memories of telling stories, not writing them, although I probably could have, but telling stories, I was about 2 or 3. My grandmother used to tell me this. My grandfather had built me a replica of their log house. He built the big one himself by hand. He built me a little bitty one, playhouse, and I was out there playing, and she was outside hanging out the laundry, and she comes and she asks me what I was doing, and I says, I'm making dinner. She says, oh, really? What are you making for dinner? And I says, I'm making steak and Pam shade. Now, remember, I was like 2. I didn't know how to say champagne. I got it backwards. So, she says, and who all are you feeding? And I says, my husband and my 13 noisy, bratty kids. So even as a little girl, I made up stories.
Yeah. I feel like that's true with a lot of writers, especially my friends. Like we have all like with all of my friends and with a lot of the writers I've spoken to, a lot of them began making up stories when they were really, really young and then started writing them, later in their life. A really good friend of mine, she tried writing out her first book, I think, on like construction paper and
Yep. I used to draw books. So.
Yeah, same. I used to do that when I was little. I was like, I didn't care much for the writing bit, but I wanted to tell stories, and so I would just draw them out of these like really wobbly.
Yeah.
Really
kid
wobbly.
drawings.
Yeah.
Kid drawing. Yeah. Kids comic books.
Yes. So, what was the moment when you realized you wanted to become an author?
Probably about halfway through my memoirs last year, I decided that, you know what, I'm retired, I'm not doing anything. I've got nothing else to do. I have lived a very, very, very full life, and I do mean that quite literally, a very full life. I've never stopped from doing anything I ever made my mind up to do. I've drove trucks, I've raised horses, I've raised kids, I farmed, I broke horses, I've just been a teacher. You name it, I've done it. So I decided when I retired, I was going to start writing all those stories that were in my head. Shut them up.
Yeah, I really love that. And so, this is a question I ask every single writer. And do you have a secret pen name that no one knows about?
Yes and no. I told you a minute ago I write kids' books. So Cherry Wright is my children's pen name. And I write little kids' books, like not even middle grade, younger. What is it? First readers? Not even that. It's in between the two. It's children's books, like up to about age 10. Say 6 to 10, first, second, third grade.
Yeah, I think those, I don't know, chapter books maybe?
I don't know that they're chapter books, but Cherry writes her own life and what makes her think of the story. And then she sits down at an ancient typewriter, which honestly is one I used as a child that my grandfather had. The typewriter in all of the stories is one I grew up with. It is an old Royal typewriter, and it probably weighed 60 pounds. It's all black and gold, and it has little round ivory keys. And that's how I learned to type. And that's where I wrote my first stories, was on that typewriter.
Yeah, I've always wanted a typewriter.
It was ancient and huge. I actually have a picture of it in the library door, which I wrote for your anthology, which you have yet to release.
Yeah, it's been chaotic. I hope to release the anthology soon, but I must get my short story written.
Well, see, it's all your fault that Cherry was born. Because you issued the challenge to write a middle grade children's story in the group we belong to. So I did, and that's where Cherry came in. She goes to the library with her grandma and gets her very first library card. And she reads her books and decides she doesn't like how short little kids' books are. And she's going to write her own. And that's where she takes off as an author at 8 years old.
Yeah, I love that. And so this is the last question, which I ask every single author I meet. And that is, what's your advice for young writers, or, not so young writers, who want to start writing and actually get their work out there into the world?
Put your butt in a chair, pick up the pen, get out the paper, or put your hands on the keys and just do it. Just write. Don't think about it. Don't say, but. Don't say, I can't, or I'll try. Just do it. I can, I will, I'll write. And I have one other thing I want to say. If you want to learn more about being a pantser, you and me and DA have decided to be totally crazy and creative.
Yes, indeed, because I was actually going to announce this later, but
okay, well, you don't have to now. We'll just leave it at that. You can tell them later.
No, we've already hinted on that. Now the audience is going to be so mad. Like, what are you talking about? Tell us. So might as well announce it now. I'll do an official YouTube announcement later, but DA, who is another writer, and I are actually starting a podcast on YouTube where we talk about writing as pantsers. And our YouTube channel is going to be called The Crazy Creatives, and I am so excited about it!
It debuts October 1st because we're trying to get everything lined up and straightened around before it happens.
Yes. Yeah, so...
And we're hoping, cross fingers, knock on wood, eventually we might get some famous pantsing authors to come on and talk about how they write. What's different between what we do and what they do.
Yeah. And I am super, super excited for that. We don't have anything up on the channel right now, but I will link the channel in the description of this YouTube video if you want to head to the channel and check it out beforehand and see the, I hope, wonderful logos that I made for it.
Yes, you did a wonderful job. We're also in the process of making a Facebook page for it and a website so that people can check out things and leave ideas for what they want us to talk about if they have questions.
Yeah, I am super excited for this.
But we're going to release them every Wednesday at 9 a.m. American time, Central American time. So, every other Wednesday, not every week, every other week, because we have to have time, because there's three of us. There's not just one of us. We've all got to three agree. And have you ever tried to get three women to agree on anything?
I mean, I have.
Yeah, so we've all three got to agree on what it's going to be about, what we're going to talk about, and then get it made, and then get it edited before we can air it.
Yes, and also, the three of us, we can get kind of busy, especially me, so. We don't have time every week. If it was every week, I would be in over my head. I would be drowning in an overflowing to-do list.
We would never get any writing done again.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have to write. So.
Yes.
It's every other week.
Yes. So, yeah. That is such an exciting announcement. I cannot wait to do that. And, thank you so much for doing this interview. And I really do love your advice for young writers. And it's definitely one I agree with and one I should probably listen to.
Oh, well, I tell you often enough, don't I? I threaten her that one of these days I will not be here because I am very old. Well, I'm not very old, but I am old. Compared to her, I'm very old. So I threaten her that when she's older and I'm no longer here, she will still hear me going, why? What did you say? Try? What is that? Try what? What is the can't? It's a can. Not a I might, I will, I'll try. It's I can, I will.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there's no need to threaten me with that anymore because I'm pretty certain, yes, that you will be agreeing to my head.
Yeah, and I still ask her why. I do. I think one afternoon we were talking and I said why about 20 times and nothing more because she was equivocating, making up excuses. So I just kept saying why. And then she finally got mad at me, kind of.
Well, I mean, it does say in my YouTube bio, I am a professional procrastinator.
Yes. And an equivocator.
I have no idea what that is.
That means procrastination. procrastination. My mouth is not working. And just a fancier way of saying it. You put off to tomorrow what you should have been doing today.
Yep. Yeah, so professional procrastinator, as it says in my YouTube bio.
And see, I'm just an old crazy woman.
Yes.
I feel like your great grandmother because I have great grandkids as old or older than you. Some younger, some older.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think this might actually wrap up the interview. Thank you so much
You
for doing
betcha.
this interview. It was amazing.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like it was amazing getting to talk to you here and to ask you all these questions about writing. And I cannot wait for book 2. And I really need to read book 2 because that last line.
Well, you can start the beta, but nobody else can. So look at it that way. You get a head start on the rest of the world.
True.
So, yeah, I'll send you that here after a while.
But yeah. And, you know, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more author interviews. And you can also check out my blog where I hope to do more author interviews there. I have kind of fallen behind on asking authors because I'm so busy, but we'll put more author interviews on there, hopefully. And
yeah.
Don't forget to check out Bea's book, which is amazing. I have read it. It is fantastic for, you know, pretty much everyone, kids, teens, and adults. And you also have an author website that you are working to set up, right?
BeaDragonia-writes.com. And I have a Facebook page, just BeaDragonia, where I'm running a write a story, short story, flash fiction, I don't know what to call it. You pick one word. I compile a list for 1 word a day. You compile, and you could choose 1 word out of the list and write 300 to 500 words on it and post it on the website, on the Facebook page. And then I am going to collect them all, and every 3 months, I am going to put them all together in an organized manner and publish them on Amazon along with the rest of my books.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that. So, yeah, this probably wraps up this interview. Thank you guys so much for coming. I hope you check out Bea's book. And, yeah, I suppose I shall see you in the next video.
See you guys later. Keep writing.
Yes.